How do you do? I'm Dustaroo. Let's talk about Five Nights at Freddy's and Dead by Daylight. Most of the time before I do a rework or a killer concept, I go over the lore of the character, a little bit to refresh the mind and lay an idea of why I made the powers what they are, and how they relate to the character. But Five Nights at Freddy's is a series that I have not really followed in a very long time. I stopped watching FNAF content not long after Sister Location's release and the 15th MatPat video.
A game theory!
So most of my experience and enjoyment with the franchise comes from early in the series. So I'm not what you would call a diehard. Majority of the people watching this are going to have a much better grasp on everything lore related than I ever would. So I'll give the most briefest of explanations for the very few that don't. There is a pizzeria with animatronics, a place for children to have birthdays, play games, and get bullied and have their head crunched.
Was that the bite of 87?
During this time, evil Badman owner Purple Guy gets salty and starts murking children and cramming them into empty animatronics in the back of the pizzeria. Then the vengeful spirits of the composting kids possess the bodies of the animatronics and come alive after hours night at the museum style. Just to vibe, look ominously into cameras, and attack security guards as those darn kids usually do. I'm not even going to talk about the multiple chain restaurants and whatever this is. I want to stick to the strongest, most iconic aspects of the series. The ones where I and many others, both active with the series and those who are only lightly familiar with, will understand and enjoy. The best of both worlds for fans and non-fans alike. Yes, Springtrap would be the best pick for an individual killer if Dead by Daylight welcomed FNAF into the fog, but the killer power that I came up with needs a few more helping hands, 'cause only together we are FNAF. The power has a lot going on, but is pretty simple when it is all said and done, so it'll be broken down piece by piece. The killer's title is called the Animatronics. During the trial, the four animatronics, Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, and Foxy, will wander the map, each with their own unique powers and abilities. The killer takes control of one of the animatronics randomly at the start of the match. Freddy. Freddy has the ability called Unsettling Laugh. Freddy, every 30 seconds, can activate a laugh, which gives any survivors within his terror radius 60 seconds of oblivious, with a special effect. If survivors are within the area of where Freddy's terror radius would be, they will hear Freddy's laugh at different volumes and coming from different directions. Freddy does not have a red stain visible to any survivor at any time. Bonnie. Bonnie has the ability Powered Punch. Bonnie can charge a punch that will have the same lunge distance as a regular swing, regardless of total charge time, but will be considered a special attack. Survivors hit with a powered punch will be launched forward. The speed and distance will depend on the total charge time of the punch. If punched survivors come in contact with generators, downed pallets, breakable walls, or even other survivors, the object is damaged, destroyed, and the survivors suffer the deep wounds status effect. The longer the punch is charged, the longer the men timer will be. Chica. Chica has the ability Mr. Cupcake. Chica can throw Mr. Cupcake, or Carl as his friends call him, at survivors. Survivors hit by Mr. Cupcake will be injured, but cannot be placed into the dying state. Survivors hit by Mr. Cupcake will also have him stuck, biting onto their back. Every 10 seconds, Carl bites down, causing the survivor to scream out, revealing their location, and showing them on Killer Instinct for 3 seconds. Carl will remain on the survivor for a total of 60 seconds, and then return to Chica, to which he can be thrown again. If Chica misses a cupcake throw, Carl will replenish on her after a 6-second cooldown, to which she can throw Carl again. Lastly, we have Foxy, with his ability Sudden Sprint. Every 30 seconds, Foxy can activate a dash to run forward very quickly in a straight line, during which he can not attack survivors. This dash functions the exact same as Blighted Serum. Foxy can also vault windows at an increased speed, and outside of chase travel at 120% movement speed. So, we know what the animatronics do while being controlled, but how do you switch between them, and how do they function while not being controlled by the killer? Wandering Souls. While one animatronic is being controlled, the 3 uncontrolled animatronics will wander around the map at 2.0 meters a second. They do not take notice of survivors and cannot be pallet stunned or blinded. They do have collision, so survivors and killers alike cannot walk through them. The animatronics have 3 states of being while not being controlled by the killer: Wandering State, Observed State, and the Fully Powered State. Wandering State. In the Wandering State, animatronics will be highlighted in white to the killer. While wandering, animatronics will gather power passively while not being observed. Becoming fully powered comes after 120 seconds of passive charging. While animatronics are in wandering mode, the killer can see through their eyes if not being currently observed. They can see through the animatronics' eyes but cannot control them until they become fully powered. While looking through an animatronic's eyes, said eyes will strobe much like an unfinished generator as a visual indicator for survivors. While looking through an animatronic's eyes, they can still be observed. While looking through an animatronic's eyes, the currently controlled animatronic will freeze in place and have its terror radius disappear. There's a short cooldown when returning to the currently controlled animatronic before regaining full movement, function similar to how returning to Charlotte works on the twins. The Observed State. While survivors are staring directly at an animatronic within 24 meters, they become observed. Observed animatronics will freeze in place and will stare into the direction of the first survivor to place them into the observed state. Observed animatronics will not gain any power and have 2% of their total power drained per second while being observed, and have their aura hidden to the killer, meaning they cannot be controlled or be used to see through their eyes. Breaking line of sight and making line of sight on an animatronic has a 3-second window before the animatronic's aura disappears or is revealed back to the killer. Survivors who observe an animatronic will passively fill a bar known as panic. If a survivor gains enough panic to fill their bar, they will become panicked. If a panicked survivor observes an animatronic, they will have their location revealed on Killer Instinct during the entire duration of the observation, and for 3 seconds afterwards. Panicked survivors will also be revealed on Killer Instinct if they observe the killer-controlled animatronic outside of chase. Panic will only be earned through observing uncontrolled animatronics. Survivors will become panicked after 60 seconds of total time observing an animatronic. The panicked status effect lasts for 120 seconds. Panicked survivors do not place animatronics into the observed state. Panic degrades 4 times as slow as it is earned, so if you require 99% of the panic bar in 59 seconds, it'll take 3 minutes and 57 seconds to go from 99% to 0%. All panic is removed after becoming hooked. Fully powered state. Animatronics in the fully powered state will be highlighted to the killer in yellow. When an animatronic is fully charged, while staring through its eyes, it can be controlled by the killer, as long as they are not being currently observed. While an uncontrolled animatronic is fully powered, any survivor within 16 meters will be revealed on Killer Instinct and hindered by 10% while within that radius, as long as the animatronic is not being observed. When a fully powered animatronic becomes controlled while any survivors are within 32 meters, a jump scare noise will be played, signaling to both survivors and the killer that they are close to one another. The jump scare noise will not be projected if the survivor is hiding in a locker or outside of a 32-meter radius. Fully powered animatronics project a soft music box tune to let both survivors and the killer know that they are fully powered. If within the 16-meter radius of a fully powered animatronic, the music box volume becomes very loud and distorted to let you know you are currently being revealed. Don't breathe. All survivors involved with a healing action suffer from the oblivious status effect. Healing, breathing, and groaning noises are increased by 100% during all healing actions. Pained possession. After the obsession is hit with a basic attack, all other survivors within 16 meters of them suffer from a 10% hindered status effect. This effect lasts for 60 seconds. Stage presence. After kicking a generator, it will be marked in yellow for the killer, causing their terror radius to project from the generator for 45 seconds. This effect is on a cooldown of 160 seconds. Brown add-ons. Dust-caked fan. Start the trial as Freddy. Extend your terror radius by 8 meters. Birthday hat. Start the trial as Foxy. Reduce sudden sprint cooldown by 5 seconds. Old phone. Start the trial as Bonnie. Increase the charge speed of powered punch by 10%. Cold pizza. Start the trial as Chica. Decrease Mr.Cupcake's time attached to survivors by 10 seconds. Yellows. Animatronic drawing. Increase the radius of fully powered animatronics by 2 meters. Fredbear plushie. Start the trial as Freddy. Those afflicted by Freddy's laugh will hear fake Freddy laughs regardless of Freddy's location. Bonnie plushie. Start the trial as Bonnie. Powered punch will now break walls, pallets, and regress generators on the impact of the punch. Foxy plushie. Start the trial as Foxy. Sudden sprint can break through pallets and walls, ending the sprint. Chica plushie. Start the trial as Chica. After Mr. Cupcake falls off a survivor, they stay broken for 30 more seconds afterwards. Greens. Balloon Boy cap. Increase the passive charge rate of animatronics by 10 seconds. Security camera. Increase the panic of observing survivors by 10%. 2-for-1 coupon. Panicked survivors now reveal their aura instead of killer instinct. Spare spring lock. Increase the radius of fully powered animatronics by 4 meters. Deflated balloon. Survivors who observe an animatronic suffer from the oblivious status effect for the entire duration of the observation. Purples. Music box. Reveal the auras of survivors within 32 meters after controlling an animatronic. $120 paycheck. After gaining control of an animatronic, gain undetectable for 10 seconds. Red and purple security suit. Survivors who are seen while looking through the animatronic's eyes have their auras revealed for 10 seconds. Animatronic instruments. Every 60 seconds, a random, uncontrolled animatronic will make a fake jump scare noise even if being currently observed. Iridescence. The blood of William Afton. Animatronics no longer freeze while being observed. Their movement speed is only reduced by 50%. The puppet. Panicked survivors will be able to observe the killer-controlled animatronic in chase. So, right about now, a lot of you have probably started to think how cosmetics could possibly work if there are 4 animatronics in the match. And I thought of that, but of course, with such an innovative killer being added to the game, means there would have to be an innovation when it comes to cosmetics as well. Yes, behavior, time to really work for that dollar. Either A, give us a unique cosmetic slot that only has 1 space and has all sets linked and apply to every animatronic. Example, you put on the Nightmare set and it's 1 box. and it'll apply to all 4 animatronics. Or B, we go full lazy and we keep the 3 slots and just make all the sets linked anyways, and you can only see 2 other animatronics in those slots. How does Prestige Cosmetics work? Do you actually care? Do you really care? Oh, you do? Okay. Free cosmetics? You care about. Okay, you're right. Free cosmetics? That matters. Each level is a linked set, but you get 3 variations of the bloody Prestige Cosmetics. You get bloody, slightly more bloody, and heavy flow. But it's time to talk about the actual cosmetics. There's a lot of different options to choose from, so I'm going to list them all out. You have the Withered set. Wow. For a spooky one, see the Phantom set. Whoa. But not as scary as the Nightmare set. Wowee zowie. For the intense view, we can have the hard mode variants. For some other sets, some characters need to be swapped, but it should still work. Like for the sister location enjoyers, you can have the Funtime animatronics, and replace Bonnie with Circus Baby. If you prefer the toy variants, you can have Foxy replaced with Mangle. Seems like a simple enough change. The body would have to be worked on a little bit, but I think it could work. And finally, you have these things. Glamrock. Replace Foxy with Roxanne, and we're cooking. We're cooking good. Some people are cooking. I won't be cooking. When it comes to the map, simple is usually the most satisfying. Just give us the pizzeria being the main building with a parking lot and a surrounding area, kind of like Badham, but hopefully 10 times less ball busting. That would be ideal, and a pretty easy implementation, I think. And that brings us to the end of the video. So what do you think? Do you like the ideas presented here? I always do give the warning that these ideas are not final and concrete, especially when it comes to numbers in particular, like how fast an animatronic could gain power. Only with testing would you be able to truly see how it functions against players, and good players. So I do the best I can with what I got. So what changes do you think would be good for this power? Or maybe what kind of powers would you like to see for a FNAF-based killer? Comment down below or come join the Discord where we have people who regularly talk about the ideas regarding cool new content for Dead by Daylight. And speaking of Discord, we will be holding a special event there for the next couple weeks. You may have noticed I didn't include a survivor with this chapter, and that's not completely out of laziness. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not a massive fan of FNAF, so I don't really have a good enough grasp on who would be the good survivor to include for this kind of chapter. The special event is that I want you to share your ideal survivor concept for this chapter. Bonus points for perks, and the winner will be voted upon the end of the event. And I will make a video sharing your concept, with as much credit as I can possibly give during that video. So if you are interested, come join the Discord and give your mind a creative flex. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll be the only one to contribute and you'll get an easy shout out. But that is going to wrap it all up, so please like and subscribe to support this channel and more videos like this moving forward. So thank you all for watching, my name is Dusteroo, and I will see you all real soon. Bye bye!